for allowing me to make my maiden speech during this debate. On the 3rd of May, it was my great honour, along with Councillors Walker and Dickerdham, to be elected by the good people of Queenstown to represent them in this chamber. Thank you. Queenstown is an incredible ward teeming with diversity, history and potential. We've residents whose families have called the area home for generations, living alongside new residents who are just starting their Queenstown story. Like all councillors, the months before May's election were filled with knocking on doors and asking people to put their faith in me to come and represent them here. There was a worrying recurring theme, though, to many of the conversations. Why should I vote? What difference will it make? No one listens anyway. There was a reasonable turnout for the last local elections, and all parties, both parties and independents, campaigned hard and did well, but half of our residents didn't think it was worth going and putting their name down and voting. It's easy for us to say it's their fault, they're apathetic, but the reality is it's our job as politicians to make politics relevant to them and their lives. Democracy is supposed to be a system of government by the whole population, but I fear it's folly to suggest this is working when half of our residents don't participate. When huge swathes of residents in the area see hardly anyone who has shared experiences on these leather benches, is it any wonder they decide that this has no relevance to their lives? Society and politics become something that happens to them rather than something that they can truly engage with. When decisions are taken without proper consultation or without due regard to the impact on their lives, they are robbed of their agency, and so they switch off. Wandsworth is an amazing place to live. I've been here my entire life. For the last 28 years, I've been a council tenant and have refused to exercise my right to buy, although it would have personally benefited me massively. Principles only mean something if they cost you. I believe in community, I believe in society, I believe that life is a dance, not a race. Homes are for living in, not for profiting from. We are only as strong as the most vulnerable of our neighbours. And let's be frank, our most vulnerable neighbours are suffering. Years of neglect have seen inequality growing. The housing crisis is hitting Wandsworth as hard as most other parts of our capital. There is a growing number of rough sleepers in our town centres. Many families are living in cramped, inappropriate accommodation. And many of those with private landlords find their rents going up alarmingly, while the quality of their housing is severely lacking. People in homes that have been left to deteriorate look around and see penthouses shooting up for millionaires all around them. My mother came to Britain from Jamaica in 1964 as part of the Windrush generation. For the first few years of my life, we lived in a single room in Wandsworth. When I was 4, we were lucky enough to move into a council flat on Surrey Lane in Battersea. I felt like we'd hit the jackpot. A home to call our own and a bedroom of my own. On the 20th floor of Cranmere House, I felt like the king of the world. I'd spend hours just looking out of the window at Wandsworth and in southwest London. If you've ever lived in poor quality, overpriced housing, you'll know the relief that finally getting a stable roof over your head at a price you can afford brings. Society and politics become something that... excuse me. Wandsworth has over 17,000 households who rent their homes from the council. But as far as I know, and I'm happy to be proved wrong, I'm the only council tenant out of the 60 of us. According to the 2011 census, there are 88,000 BME residents in Wandsworth, yet there are 3 BME councillors and 4 ethnic minority councillors in this chamber out of 60. Over the next 4 years, I'll do my utmost to represent the residents of Queenstown in particular and Wandsworth in general. Businesses, campaign groups, charities, developers, faith groups are all important, but we must remember it's the residents who employ us. Everything we do should be about helping them. improve their lives so they can flourish in this wonderful part of this beautiful city. I'm not being partisan when I make these points. The lack of diversity and inclusivity runs throughout politics. Unnecessary complex systems, archaic bureaucracy, patronising we-know-best tones leave many turned off. And to be honest, the pantomime stuff that goes on here leaves people turned off. It's all slightly surreal, though, to be making this speech on the day of on the day when England has this huge sporting moment. Like many South Londoners of a certain age, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I wanted to finish with. I want to take this opportunity to quote the great Bill Shankly. Socialism, the socialism I believe in, isn't really politics. It's a way of living. It's humanity. I believe the only way to live and be truly successful is by collective effort, with everyone working for each other, everyone helping each other, everyone having a share in the rewards at the end of the day. That might be asking a lot, but it's the way I see football and it's the way I see life. Thank you.
Phenomenal.